Harley-Davidson just released the Revival Icon Electra Glide. Let's talk about that. Good Moto Morning. I'm your host, Eric. Today on Kraken's Garage, we talk about the new release of the Harley-Davidson Icon Electra Glide Revival, a limited edition bike that just hit the market for the year 2021. Let's get cracking. I've watched quite a few videos and there's a lot of people kind of bagging on this bike, especially in its price range. The list price on it is $29,995. And they're like, gee, you could buy a standard base Electra Glide for $21,999, call it $22,000. Why would I pay $8,000 more for this bike? And we'll talk about that. And actually, I think there is value there and hope to kick that around a little bit. What this bike is styled after is an exact look of a 1969 Electra Glide with that two-tone black and blue gas tank, and then the bags and fairing are a birch white. So I think they did a really good job on that. When the CEO of Harley talked about the Icon series of bikes, they kind of alluded to the fact that it was going to be a notch above the CVO line, so I was bracing myself for $40,000 to $50,000 motorcycles. This bike is priced right in between the specials that they have out, the Electra Glide Special in this case, and the CVO Electra Glide, which retails for $41,000 in that range. So I'm pleasantly surprised that they didn't up the ante even more. We'll talk about the pricing in just a minute. So for 2021, there will only be one Icon model release, and this is this bike. Every year after that, there'll be two, with a limited amount of only 1,500 of each model. That 1,500 is for the entire world. So at best, I think you may see one in every dealership or maybe two in the really large dealerships, but it's very limited. So I think it's going to sell out quickly. It's rocking the 114 M8. No, they didn't go into the 117 or a punched out motor. They just kept it with the standard 114. For pricing structure on where this bike sits at, the base Electra Glide sells for $21,999. The special sells for $27,099, and the CVO sells for $40,599. Apples to apples, if you're going to compare pricing structure, those base models are just for the vivid black. If you get the two-tone paint job, not even just a metallic paint job, there's a price bump of $1,000 for anything two-tone. This does have the two-tone with the blue and the black down below. So right there you can add $1,000 to the price. That shortens that difference. Now, based on that information, this limited production bike is going to cost you about $2,396 more than a special, Electra Glide Special that is. And we'll talk about the pros and cons of that and whether it's worth your hard-earned money. All right, let's talk about the pros. Limited edition, only 1,500 of them, and they're going to be numbered. Pricing is $29,995. I find that to be a thumbs up when most reviewers are saying, wow, that's too expensive, that's a rich man bike, and we'll talk about that in a bit. It also comes standard with RDRS. It has their infotainment system with the 6.5-inch TFT screen that is able to communicate in 12 different languages. Also has the Apple CarPlay, the hands-free texting, the hands-free calling, Bluetooth connectivity to your iPad, iPhones, things of that nature, as well as, of course, navigation. It has wired wheels, which I happen to like, but then again, I'm an older rider, so I really appreciate the chrome wire wheels on Harleys. The 30-year-old and, let me rephrase that, the 20 to 40-year-olds pretty much prefer the mag wheels, and I get that, so that may be an old school statement for me to find that a pro regarding the wire wheels. It has chrome trim up on the front fender, that you don't get on the standard or the special, and also has the chrome racks around the hard luggage on the back, which gives it that classic look from 1969. White wall tires really look sharp with the wire wheels in my opinion. ABS is standard, cruise control, security system, all standard. You also get the two-tone paint. You also get driving lights already installed on the bike. And then you have that single solo seat that's kind of a two-tone leatherette where you have black where your butt sits, and then you have a white side around here that I think complements the bags and the fairing as well. And it has like a chrome basket that goes around the back side of the seat. I think it's really sharp. Now the cons that I can tell, no LED lights, solo seat, so if you want to ride a passenger, you got to buy a second seat and you got to buy foot pegs, and no heel shifter. So there's another $80-100 down the tubes if you want to go retro. That is definitely retro, having the heel shifter. So I think Harley missed the mark cheaping out on those three items. I think the LED lights are Harley's way of a natural bump to get several more $100 out of your wallet to upgrade your current lights to current today's standards. LEDs are standard on every bike in my garage except for my Harleys. Crazy to think about it. You know, even my El Cheapo Benelli has LED headlights and LED lights all the way around on the bike. It's unacceptable in my opinion. This bike only comes in one color combination, hi-fi blue with birch white, two-tone. And I think in its pricing, when you add up the chrome on the front fender and you add up the chrome around the hard bags on the back, the chrome basket on the seat, the driving lights, the RDRS, all of these items that you would add on to just take the special, I think you're right there at $29,995. I think it's within line pricing for what you get for your dollar. Could they put a bit more on it regarding a passenger ability? Yes. Could they put a heel toe shifter on it? Yes. Could they have put LEDs on it? Yes, that would have been nice. That said, there's a reason why there's a huge aftermarket for Harley support to create these items and fill that niche that Harley is hoping that you'll go back to their parts counter and drop another $100,000 on LED lights to update your bike when you can go to an aftermarket company and spend quite a bit less. This particular bike is just about perfect out of the box. To me, it's not a bike I would want to change. Point being is I wouldn't change a thing on the bike except maybe add a passenger seat and probably a set of pipes on it. Me, I would put some fishtails on it, which is right out of that era, a chapter out of that era of Harley-Davidson, and give it that classic look and a little more tone on the pipes. So I think Harley is hitting the ball out of the park. I think all 1,500 of these bikes will sell globally like that. Here's the $64 question though. Let's say it wasn't a limited production bike and Harley just released this model and called it the Electra Glide Classic, all right, and styled it after the '69 bike. Would you buy that bike? And if it was one of their standard bikes, they would have, 3-4 different colors available for it. Vivid black, of course, and then two-tone and so on and so forth. Would you buy that bike, or is the only thing that's going to drive the sales on this bike is the limited availability of owning something that only 1,500 of them were made in the world? That would be a great question. I think there's a lot of good bikes that they can produce that would sell like hotcakes. The FX, bring the FX back and put the RT fairing on it, I think would be a no-brainer. Put it on the Sport Glide and you would have a home run. And get rid of that puny little fairing that they have on the Sport Glide. So we'll see where Harley goes with the Icon series or the Revival series with their limited production bikes. Personally, I love it. I'm just fresh out of 30 large to go buy one right now. I suppose I could clean out my garage and sell everything I got if I wanted to have that bike, but it's not worth it to me at this point. Let me know your thoughts down below. Would you buy one of these bikes in that limited production for $30,000, or would you, if they produced it in greater numbers just as a standard bike, would you be interested in that classic look of the bike? Or would you go with a standard street glide? Baggers are where it's at with Harley right now. It's their bread and butter, so I think it's a smart move for them. That's about all I got for this one on this debut of Harley's Icon bike. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more in the future, hit that subscribe button right down there in the corner. And remember, folks, go riding. It's good for you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.